In studio with me now, I have Melissa Wenzel, our biokineticist. I make her get up very early in the morning and join us. Thank you for coming back, Melissa.
It's a pleasure.
So just to remind listeners and those who haven't heard you before.
So sorry for the interruption. Editor Melissa over here. Just a reminder, because I've been forgetting to do it. Please like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, please like, comment and subscribe. I'll appreciate it. And back to the video.
You're a biokineticist. What does that mean? What is biokinetics?
Biokinetics basically is being an expert in exercise prescription. There are a lot of conditions out there currently. So, for example, people that have diabetes or hypertension, like the diseases of lifestyle, that can be managed and in some cases reversed just through adding activity to your lifestyle. Everything doesn't need to be medication. There is a place for medication, but basically getting active, there's a lot of good that can be done with activity because our bodies, we were designed to move.
And you have a degree in human movement sciences?
I have a degree in human movement studies, yes, which is now sport and exercise science.
There we go. Clearly, I am not the expert here. So this morning I wanted to talk about sitting down because, one of the things that I see people complain about a lot on social media is the traffic. And so, for example, one of the guests coming in next week, she sits in traffic for about 4 hours of her day. She's in traffic. Coming and going. It could be 3, but I mean, in both cases, it's shocking. Then she goes to work, and I don't think she sits down for that long. But I know people who, in their jobs, in their 8-hour kind of working day, they are basically at their desk almost that whole time. And the reason I say almost is I know that they'll get up to go to the loo. Mm-hmm. They'll get up to go and make some coffee.
Yeah.
And if they brought their food with them, they'll put it in the microwave and then they'll go and eat it
at the desk.
At their desk, and so the studies also that have been coming through about people who sit for longer than 7 hours a day are actually lengthening their lifespan. So I wanted you to talk to us as someone who has expertise in how your body works, specifically with regard to movement. Why is that so? Why is sitting for long periods of time in the main going to shorten your lifespan? And what exactly happens to your body when you are sitting for 7 or 8 hours a day?
Okay, there's now been the latest comparison drawn that smoking is like the new sitting. So when you think of smoking, you think of premature aging, you think of
wrinkles,
you think lack of lung capacity, you think of hypertension. Basically what it means is when our bodies are designed to move. As I said, we have like over 700 muscles, over 360 joints. So we are actually designed to move. The natural curvature of your spine is S-shaped. So when you are sitting and all of your muscles are engaged, especially the core muscles, when you are sitting, you change that S shape into a C shape. So then also your head and neck posture comes forward. That's basically, true. It actually kind of shrinks your rib cage, so you can't breathe as well as you would. You may find people that sit for extended periods of time, they have blurry eyes, and that may be also due to sitting in front of a computer screen all of the time, and headaches, but also that forward posture, it prevents the proper circulation of blood. So then when that happens, with the extended sitting, it's generally 6 to 8 hours you are decreasing your lifespan. When it comes to aging, we age at a cellular level, and when it comes to really breaking it down, like when it comes to, about DNA, basically as you age, your telomeres, which are, if you think of shoelaces, the little plastic, I can't remember what you call the little plastic
at the ends of the shoelaces.
Yes, so that actually prevents your shoelaces from fraying. So what happens is every time your cells divide, your telomeres get a little bit shorter, and that's basically one of the contributors to aging. So with
Are they like the little things at the end of the shoelaces?
Yes. They're the caps on the end. So the little caps get shorter because there's always the cell division taking place.
So if I'm standing too long, then I am unraveling my shoelaces.
You mean if you're sitting too long?
Sorry, yes, that one.
Yes, but we're talking about 6 to 8 hours because it's unnatural. When you eat, you need to sit down, you can't help driving.
Yeah,
But I mean, yes, the sitting for prolonged periods of time, because people will sit and they'll just sit and they'll eat, or they won't get up. And then also what happens is you may find you start suffering from insomnia, because what happens is when you are sitting in your body is under the impression that you are resting, but your brain is actually working. So when it comes to the nighttime, you are actually tired, but your body is like, ugh, you've been resting already. So that is what also you have that kind
so your
of problem
brain is
happening.
tired because your brain's been working.
Yes, your
but
brain
your
is working, but your
awake.
body is just sitting there.
Yeah, okay. So, Dr. Google says to me, sitting for long periods can lead to weakening and wasting away of the large leg and gluteal muscles. These large sitting or lying down for too long, that's Google, not me. But, somebody wrote it like that, increases your risk of chronic health problems such as heart disease, diabetes, and some cancers.
Okay, so now again it comes to the fact that obviously if you are sitting, you are being inactive.
Right.
So when you're being inactive, that means that your heart is not working, it's not functioning the way it should, and also your circulation is not working the way it should. So then you have the weakening of the heart muscle. You even have the weakening of your bones, because bones are strengthened by the stresses placed on them by the muscles moving and working. So if the muscles aren't moving and working, there's not really the need, the bones actually themselves become weaker. So this
is why this is why they also advise women who, as they get older, to do to either gain a little bit of weight or to work out with weights to strengthen their bones, so
Yes.
that their bone density doesn't become an issue.
Yes, because resistance training, the bone doesn't have as rich a blood supply as the muscles do. But the muscles working and stressing the bone when you are actually working is what helps keep your bone dense. So resistance training is actually very, very important. The thing is also when you are sitting all the time, because you are not moving around, your actual metabolism slows down. So now you find that it becomes more difficult for you to lose weight.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you that as well, because when you're sitting down, because as you were saying, everything is compressed, so your spine that should be a S is now a C because it's compressed, and your neck is also at the wrong angle, and you're not getting enough oxygen. So what happens to your stomach? Because it's kind of folding in also if you're in that kind of almost a hunched position all day, and what does that mean for your digestion?
So now when you're sitting in this or you're in this unnatural position for extended periods of time, your body is basically, I'm going to say, perfectly designed. So now you are changing the natural alignment of your spine, which then means your organs and things are also shifted around. So when it comes to your eating, you need your body, if your digestive system is not working properly, whether it's due to inadequate, like you said, people are going and they're having their lunch, which is microwave, so maybe that's a convenience food, maybe it's not food that they brought from home, so it's not that nutrient dense, and they are drinking coffee. So now you are sitting and you're eating food that's not that great, and now you're drinking coffee, which maybe has a lot of sugar in, so you may even be dehydrating yourself further as you are sitting there. So basically what it means is that even though you are getting in food, maybe the food is nutrient dense, but because everything is not functioning the way it should, you cannot extract the proper nutrition from that. So now you're not getting the proper nutrition and everything is all hunched up. And as we said earlier, when you're sitting, your muscles are disengaged. So now you even have that other effect on your actual digestion. So you may not be getting the proper nutrition, but even if you are getting the proper nutrition, your body isn't efficiently extracting the nutrition from the food that you are eating. So you even find people suffer from constipation also, that are in a seated position for extended periods of time.
Dis 'n kak storie.
Yeah,
couldn't resist.
Inderdaad.
So it's basically it's a lot of things compounding on top of things. And so essentially then what happens is you're doing all this sitting down, which is affecting your quality of life.
Yes.
Because, there's insomnia, and then other diseases. So, for example, there's diabetes. Now you might even be developing a spastic colon or
chronic lower back pains also.
Those kinds of things.
Cardiovascular
So
issues.
now, how do you combat it? What do you do? Because look, for a lot of people, they are desk bound. That is what their job requires. So what do they do? Because I know part of it is, and I saw this again on Google, was it can even affect your mental health.
Yes.
Now I know doing what I do, i.e. this, interviewing people on the radio, I need a certain level of alertness to be very aware of what they're saying so that I get the information and ask the question, the follow-up question. And I often do that as I do now standing up.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me alert. I'm more focused. My concentration is better when I'm standing up. But a lot of people, they can't do that. The nature of their work, for example, they may be writing or they may be typing, so they feel more comfortable, sitting down and have to be sitting down for 6 to 8 hours because of what they do. So how do they build breaks into their time?
Well, one of the things that they can do is, for instance, if you have a colleague maybe down the passage or something, instead of sending them a mail, which is easier and more convenient, or calling them, you can actually get up and take a walk to them. Take a walk when you go to the water fountain. Mm-hmm. Have bins further away from your desk instead of it just being right there and just throwing things in the bin. So, and then also the new thing is having standing desks. So then that also encourages standing. If in cases where people can't do that, those big physio balls, because when you're sitting on them, those exercise balls, you can sit on those, and obviously you need to maintain your balance. So you can even have something like that. They have these other ergonomic chairs also, which includes a ball for you to actually be engaging your postural muscles.
Okay, so if you've just joined us, I'm Anne Wenzel talking to Melissa Wenzel about sitting for very, very long periods of time. We're discussing some of the information around the studies which show that if you sit for X number of hours a day, 6 and more, you are actually shortening your lifespan. So we're talking about also all the conditions, the other conditions besides just shortening your lifespan. And Melissa was saying earlier that sitting is the new smoking. Join the conversation. Call us on 021 446 0567, WhatsApp 072 567 1567, tweet at Cape Talk, and SMS 31567. So apparently an aglet is the end of a shoelace.
Yes.
props to our producer. An aglet is the end of a shoelace. So Melissa was referencing that earlier to the part of that on our DNA that keeps everything together and stops us from aging.
Yes.
As the same as the cap on the shoelace, which stops the shoelace from fraying. Yeah. So Melissa, I just want you spoke about a standing desk. So that seems like a cheat to me. A desk is just a desk, and you're just not sitting down at your desk, you're standing at it.
Yes. When you are standing, you are, as I said earlier, you are engaging your postural muscles.
But then is this desk higher?
Yes, it's almost, it's almost like if I can think of you picturing the desk that you're sitting at with another, like a box or something on top of it, so you actually need to stand. So then also changes the angle at which you put down your arms, because that's also how people are developing carpal tunnel. So then that can also be alleviated.
Okay, so then basically it's doing a couple of things, because now it's alleviating the issue with your back, the issue with your stomach, the issue with your carpal tunnel as well.
Yes, the issue with your neck, the forward posture and the breathing.
Okay, so is it then also possible that a lot of people who are having problems with their neck is not so much maybe the actual stress, but a combination of stress and the posture that they are maintaining during their working hours?
Yes, no, definitely. Especially if you have, like, I shouldn't say a high stress job, but a job where it requires a lot of thought, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of deadlines. Your upper back muscles generally are your stress muscles, and you will find that you start to hunch your shoulders. You'll find even that your breathing itself becomes shallower. So if you think about the muscles are tightening up, your posture, you have this forward neck posture, and your lungs are compressed because of the forward posture, and now you're not breathing well enough, it's understandable that you are going to have headaches, you're going to have blurry vision, you're going to have even lower back pains and things. So sitting for prolonged periods of time is really not ideal. So even if some people commute, then if you can, okay, obviously not in a taxi, but if you are like on the train or on the bus, even standing instead of sitting would actually help in terms of limiting your time that you spend sitting, not so much TV time, taking a dog for a walk or doing some form of activity. As I said the last time, you don't need to immediately get into hours and hours of training, but you just need to start something and getting active, because even with the release of endorphins and serotonin, you need to be active, because it fights depression and anxiety.
Okay, because there's another, this is a thing that I was thinking about as well, is for a lot of people, they are sitting at their office for 6 to 8 hours. Then they literally sit in the traffic. And all of that is stressful.
That's a lot of sitting.
You know, first of all, it's sitting. Second of all, it's stressful. Because they're sitting at work and then they're sitting in the traffic, and the traffic is stressful. Then they get home and they want to de-stress, and they sit some more.
Yes, they relax in front of the TV.
Exactly. So it's like it's a vicious
cycle.
It's a vicious cycle that they can't get out of. Because the other thing is, when you sit, you use less energy.
Yes.
So the problem is now, and you're saying, even if you are eating the right nutrient-dense foods, because of all the problems that you are creating in your body with all the sitting, your body may not be able to extract those nutrients. So that means now, what is happening to all this energy?
The thing is also, when you're sitting for prolonged periods of time, like we said, your body interprets it as resting. So if you are resting, your body then will drop your metabolic rate. And your metabolic rate is basically the amount of calories or food you need to keep your body going. So now if you are less active, and that your metabolic rate itself is going to drop, and you are going to stay eating the same amount that you're eating, you're actually going to find that you gain weight. Even when you start eating less, you will still find that you are putting on weight. And a lot of people, when it comes to stress, you put on your weight around your midsection. So now you're having that extra weight around your midsection, and because of your posture and you're not engaging the core muscles, you are getting weakening around that area. So then you're going to have weakening, you're going to have a bulge, and you're going to have lower back pain.
Okay, so now you can't sit for 10 hours and then exercise for 30 minutes. I mean, that 30 minutes surely it doesn't...
Well, if it's a start, yes. But I mean, the 30 minutes will not be able to negate the 10 hours of just sitting. But it's a start. I believe in starting. Sometimes the hardest thing is just to start.
Okay, so I'm thinking now, let's say I change from a regular desk to a standing desk.
Yeah.
So all that means is I am now standing.
Yes.
So now I'm thinking, but standing for long hours also has risks.
Yes, it can also lead to, if you are just standing still, that's why there's a lot of the professions where people are on their feet, they lead to varicose veins and maybe swelling in your lower legs. But if you are moving around, so a simple thing that you can do is, if you're at your station, if your desk is big enough, not having things within arm's reach, especially if you are standing, you need to get up and get to whatever it is that you need to be getting. Or if you are sitting, if you are answering a lot of emails, or maybe if you're in a call center, it's probably going to look ridiculous, but maybe you decide, okay, every two or three emails, I'm going to do maybe 5 squats, or I'm just going to get up, or I'm just going to stretch, or just add a little bit of activity to your day. So adding that, it will add up at the end of the day. Because if you've been sitting for a long time, remember we're talking about all of the negative effects that it has. You are not going to be in a good physical state to really start with a serious exercise program in any event. So then the small things that you are going to start is actually going to be beneficial to you.
Okay, but in all seriousness, if you are in a call center or in an office, you're not going to squat at your desk. I can squat at my desk because who's going to see me? Just you, and the producer doesn't care, and nobody else cares. So yeah, but realistically though, if I'm in an office and I'm going to walk, let's say, I mean, even here where I'm standing now, to get to that bin is going to be 5 steps.
Yeah.
So if I decide that every little piece of paper I must throw in the bin individually, and I'm saying this because when I think of my actual situation when I am at work, I actually will wait until I have enough paper that I need to shred, and then go and shred them all. So listening to you, I'm thinking, well, if I went to go and shred those papers, or 1 by 1 or even 2 by 2, I'd get in a significant bit of exercise actually,
yes, you
you know. So that is kind of something that I can work into my schedule because I can squat, but I can't squat at the office. So if I'm going to walk that 5 steps and 5 steps back, because that's literally going to be 4 steps, 5 steps to the bin, and then another 4 steps, 5 steps back. Now, if I'm going to do that, maybe there's not that much paper. Let's say 20 times in one day. I mean,
What you can also do is, like, I've noticed actually that you are standing. I'm sitting, but I'm very short, so my feet aren't even touching the ground. So as I'm sitting, I'm actually doing rotations with my ankles, which is something you didn't know I was doing that. I was actually...
She could be lying, I can't see.
No. Okay, I could be, but I'm not. So you could be doing little circles, you could be pointing and flexing your toes, you could be extending your legs. In that way, you are engaging your muscles.
So does that count?
That does count. You can sit, and if you squeeze your thighs together, that's also engaging your muscles. You can even squeeze your butt as you are sitting. So nobody's going to see you doing that. But those are things that you can do instead of getting up and like, what's that fool doing there doing squats? Hey, waving at people. But there are always ways and means of doing things. You just need to consciously think and then add it. And if you add little things, it becomes easier, and then you just start progressing from there.
Okay. So, I mean, that's actually helpful. Now, what could you do in the traffic? Probably nothing, because you would
If you're
have an
driving...
accident.
Oh, wow. And those guys cut you off. Ugh. It's like people don't know what a four-way... It's like, the other day, now I'm going off on a tangent. When people think that the indicator's a magic wand and they just indicate and just dive in front of you, or at the four-way stop and they just go ahead of you, like you stopping for them. But
They didn't do the K53.
I don't know what they did, but they did the stress you out. That's what they did. But some things are beyond your control, and that you just need to realize that there are going to be situations that are stressful. Well, you can, I don't know, you can squeeze your muscles while you're sitting and driving.
Traffic. But that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
It's not about when you're driving. You're sitting in the traffic. So you're not. It's not like you're driving at the time. You're so much stopping. Because it's a stop-start situation. And
especially if it's peak hour, yes.
Exactly. So, I mean, and that's, maybe I should have clarified. You're in peak hour traffic. So it's going to take you, I'm going to use my friend as an example, 2 hours to do, what is basically a 25-minute drive. So you see what I'm saying? It's not like you're driving like a proper drive where you have to concentrate, and you are stop-starting because you're in traffic. So you're more stopping than starting. So you often you're sitting there for 20, 30 seconds, sometimes 2-3 minutes at a time, and then you're going to move forward
1 car length.
Yeah, exactly. So in that situation, because, and I'm just thinking of that because you're saying as you're sitting there, there's all these things you can do in your chair. So you're sitting there in the traffic. So, I mean, obviously, it's going to be a bit harder to do ankle rolls or whatever.
Yes, I was doing ankle rolls and leg extensions while I was sitting here.
Can I do arm extensions? Is there such a thing?
Well, bending and flexing your arms within the confines of your car, I suppose you could, but, we don't want you to let go of the steering wheel. But, I mean, your bigger muscles that really really make your heart work is your lower body muscles. Because, especially for us as women, the upper body is not very muscular. There's not really that much muscle happening there in any case. So, the greater demand will be coming from your legs and your glute muscles.
So then you could do the same as in the squeezing the thighs and maybe the squeezing the butt.
Yes,
so you work
while
those.
you're driving.
Yeah, because I mean the article I was reading from the web earlier was talking about your gluteal muscles and the thigh muscles, all the wasting, all the big muscles that sit there and they waste. So this way you engage them. And you also, because you were saying earlier about how when you are exercising your muscles, you get oxygen flowing. And so this is also then something that you can do and consciously consider, because this would be the exercise that you would do in your chair.
Yeah.
And so when you're driving, you can actually just do the same thing.
Yes, because you also want your blood to be pumping against gravity. So when you are using your muscles also work like a pump, so it pumps it back up. So it goes down and then it goes up. So then it's actually working better.
Okay, so just before we say goodbye to you, so we're talking now about sitting down for long periods of time and how you counteract the sitting down for long periods of time. So I think we've got a fair sense of how to do that, and we're good to go, and we've got some really great tips for that. But now, what about your posture? Because now you're sitting down, so you still maybe, you're a little bit hunched over, so you still have the problem with your neck, and then you have the tension in your neck and your shoulders. So what do you do to ease those muscles? Now, obviously now I'm not talking about, exercising as opposed to sitting. I'm talking about now, how do I relieve tight neck and shoulders?
Well, the tight neck and shoulders is a tough one. But I mean, when you are getting up and going to a colleague or going to drink some water, that also takes your mind and changes your posture. Because when you're sitting down, you are in that, your head is down, forward facing position. When you have a standing desk, or when you have changed the way your desk setup, you are actually in a more, your computer or your screen is on eye level. So that already will alleviate
right. So you're
that
not at your
forward
neck,
posture.
your head is not at a 45-degree angle from your neck. Is not at, because normally you are angled.
Yeah, so you're not
down.
looking down. So you're actually, looking up. Because even sometimes people check their phones. They're now calling it phone posture, because you're also in a down posture like this.
Yes, that's true. I've seen that. And they're talking about phone neck or phone chin, because they're saying that now so many people are developing double chins, and younger people are developing double chins because they're always at that angle. And sorry, that was me turning away because I'm making the action.
Yes.
And as I make the action, I'm actually feeling under my chin the little bubble, and I'm like, let's stop that right now.
So then now you have this forward posture, and you have the accelerated aging, which is leading to your skin is also becoming more saggy because of your accelerated aging. So it's actually not great. Remember when I spoke about the telomeres getting getting shortened? So it's not great. You need to, posture is key. If your posture is not aligned, your other organs and things can't function, because there's space for everything. And if you are going to be crunching up the space by having your posture incorrect, then it's not going to be able to function.
Okay. So if we remember just a few basic things about movement while sitting down and our posture, we have started on a good road.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Melissa. It's 2 a.m.